Okay. So, the parallelogram law. Okay. So, what is the parallelogram law? It's particularly important. See, what is the definition of a parallelogram? Tell me.
It's a quadrilateral with two parallel lines. Oh wait, no, that's a trapeze. Sorry, it's a um quadrilateral, two sets of um two sets of angles, same angles. Um,
Sets of
that's
same
not
angles, huh?
um that's not 90 degrees, and with two sets of um lines, edges that are the same.
You have to be like whenever I ask these questions or anyone asks you questions, you have to like say it with fluency within 5 or 10 seconds. Because I've been reading this for like ages. Okay, see, what is a parallelogram? Yes, obviously the angles won't be 90 degrees. I mean, they could be 90 degrees, but they're a special kind of parallelogram, which we would call, say, it might be a rectangle, it might be a square. But in case of parallelograms, what is the particularly the important aspects? First one is the opposite sides. You have to mention this thing. The opposite sides are equal and parallel. Are equal and parallel. You easily understand from that. Okay, like from the equal angles or not, it's better understood with these terms. Okay, so the equal and parallel. So this is parallel to this, and this is parallel to this. Okay, all right. Now you are saying equal angles. Which angles are you mentioning referring to as equals? Which ones? Say if I say A, B, C, and D. Which two pairs of angles are equal here?
AC and BD.
Right. So uh, say that the opposite angles are equal, right? There are names, right? This is the opposite angle. These are denoted as opposite angles. So opposite angles are equal to each other. Opposite angles are equal. Okay. All right. So now this will be needed here because in case of the parallelogram law, it's particularly very important. So what it means is, say, from a particular point, say one of these points, one is say A, all right. From A, two of the sides have gone, one to the upwards direction and one to the rightwards direction. So say in the upwards direction, I'm calling it P vector. In the rightwards direction, I'm calling it Q vector. So now the parallelogram states that the resultant of these two vectors will act on the diagonal. It will act along the diagonal. Okay. So again, let me repeat. So if there are two vectors, one is P vector and Q vector, and if we draw a parallelogram using these two vectors, obviously you can understand how can we write a parallelogram. You will just draw a parallel line to Q vector and draw another line to P vector where the Q vector ends. Then obviously they will intersect at a point. Then just join them to get the parallelogram. So if this happens, the diagonal starting from their common point between P vector and Q vector will denote the resultant vector. Understand my point?
Yes.
Okay. So this one is particularly needed various times. You will see that. Okay, so let's see what they have written. So, if two similar vectors acting simultaneously at a point, say this is A point, can be represented both in magnitude and direction by two adjacent sides of a parallelogram. See, these two sides are adjacent to each other. So the diagonal from the point of intersection of these sides gives the resultant vector both in magnitude and direction. All right. So the R vector's magnitude will also be, what can I
The
say?
same.
Uh, no, not the same. I mean, it will give you the magnitude as well as the direction. I mean, I will. What can I say? Say for instance, This is 4 newtons. Okay. And this is 7 newtons. Okay. Sorry, 5 newtons, say, for instance. So now along this line, we are getting, say, a value of, say, for instance, say 8 newtons. Okay. So this magnitude will be the resultant magnitude of these two as well. And also the direction of these two vectors will be the direction along the diagonal as well. That is what it means. Okay. Understand my point now?
Yes.
I mean, by no way, never think that in any case they could act like algebraic ways. Okay. It is not possible in vectors. All right. Okay. Okay. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask. Okay.
I'm good.
Now, determination of magnitude of the resultant. Okay, so there is a very long sort of derivation to this. All right, so let's see real quick. So what you have to do is, you already have this parallelogram. What you are going to do is draw a normal along the extended part of OA, that is BN. Okay, so BN is perpendicular to the extended part of OA. Okay, is it understandable?
Yes.
And obviously, you can understand that this angle and this angle are equal. Okay, all right, because OC and BA are parallel to each other. Okay, so that is why I don't know what is the term to that. I think what can you say? Equal angles or something like that. I don't know. There is a particular term to that. In Bangla, we call it, say, অনুরূপ কোণ. That is what we term it. Okay.
Oh,
So anyway, you can understand, say, if you cut this angle from here, okay, it will look something like this, and if you cut it from here, it will also look like this. Okay, so they're like somewhat alike to each other. Okay, that is why they act like same. Okay, and obviously, if you I mean, take a protractor and measure it, you will get the same value as well. Anyway, you have read them various times in mathematics. I'm not going to that part. All right. So our duty is to, what is our duty? Our duty is to calculate what will be the angle of the resultant, because we have to get the direction. So we are measuring the angle with respect to the p vector, and also what will be the value for r vector as well. Okay, or the resultant vector. So what we can do? So we have formed a right angle triangle here, right? We have formed a right angle triangle. So this one. So obviously we can use the Pythagorean theorem. So what have they done? So this is OB squared equals to ON squared plus BN squared, right? Now we can divide the ON to OA plus AN whole squared plus BN squared. Okay, all right. So now, if we like distribute it, what will we get? Say for instance, a plus b whole square, it will be a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So that is OA squared plus 2 times OA times AN plus AN squared plus BN squared. Now notice this AN squared plus BN squared will equal to what? Tell me.
um, OB squared. No. AB squared.
AB squared, right? AB squared, okay. So AB squared plus 2 times OA times AN, and also we have OA squared. Okay. So that's that. That's about that. All right. Now, what they have done is they have just transformed this um, AB to OC. Okay. AB to OC for their like easiness, because we haven't involved AB as vectors. Rather, we have involved OC as a Q vector. So let us just replace this AB by OC vector. Not vector actually, we are just working with the hands here now or the side of the parallelograms. Okay. All right. So if we get to the next bit, okay. So what you have to do is just like change this OA times AN. Okay. So very easy. If we take cosine alpha here, what will we get? Tell me. In this particular right triangle, if we take cosine alpha, what will we get?
Cosine alpha.
Yes.
Uh, what do you mean?
What I mean, this is the triangle. You have to tell me what will be cosine alpha equal to.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. It'll be AN over AB.
Okay. Okay. So as you can see, and sorry, AB cosine alpha will equal to AN. All right. Now let us replace the values here. So this will equal to then OA squared plus 2 times OA times AB cosine alpha plus OC squared. And in the next line, we will revise this AB cosine alpha to be OC cosine alpha. OC cosine alpha. All right. Okay. So now what are we left with? So we are left with, say, if we replace OA with P, then we will get P squared. If we replace OC with Q, we will get Q squared. And then 2OA OC cos alpha will be plus 2PQ cosine alpha, which is equals to the resultant vector squared. Is equals to the resultant vector squared. Because OB is the resultant here, okay? So this is how we can like derive how we get the resultant vectors formula. Understand?
Yes.
Tell me. Okay, good. So please take notes of all of this because it will be needed. I mean, even if the derivation is not needed, obviously we'll get maths regarding these. Okay. Now, how do we get the direction? They have said that the direction is tan theta. Sorry, theta. So now, if we have to measure theta, we could consider this particular triangle, which is okay. Have you taken notes of these? Can I erase them?
Yes.
Good. So this is our right triangle, this big one. So we could say that tan theta equals to Bn over On, right? Is there any confusion with that?
Yes. No, sorry.
Okay. So
Wait.
Bn, okay. So how can we replace these? Okay. You could write On to be like, say, OA plus AN, all right? And Bn to be Bn, right? Okay. So OA is the it's like fixed, which is P. Okay. Now we have to transform this Bn and An. So now for that, what we are going to do is from this small triangle, we are going to take cosine alpha and sine alpha. So now tell me, cosine alpha equals to An upon AB, right? Is it correct?
Yes.
That means An will equal to AB cosine alpha. Is it correct?
Yes.
Again, sine alpha will be equal to Bn upon AB.
Yes.
That means Bn will be equal to AB sine alpha, right? So now
Yes.
if we replace these values in this equation, what we will get is Bn equals to AB sine alpha. Let us replace AB sine alpha and OA plus AN is AB cosine alpha. That is AB cosine alpha. Now, obviously, we can replace this AB with OC. So let us do that. You will write it in a separate line. Okay, I'm writing it in the same line. So this is OC sine alpha and OC cosine alpha. Now, what was our vector representation of OA and OC? Along the OA line, P vector was working. So it is P plus Q cos alpha. And in the above part, we will have Q sine alpha. So this is the particular way to get the direction of two vectors working in two adjacent sides of a parallelogram. This is how you can get the angle. The angle is theta. All right. And alpha is the angle working between the two particular vectors. Okay. Now, one particular thing the students used to get confused, even I also used to get confused in the previous, like the early stages of my learning of this chapter. That is, what is the I mean, what is the theta? Okay, and based on that, which vector am I going to write down in this particular corner? Okay, so remember, the theta could be the angle of the angle between the resultant and any other vector. If I would have taken theta with this q, this is also correct. No problem with that. But in that case, this equation would change. Understand my point? Okay.
Yes.
Even when you write down the answer, you will say that the resultant vector will make an angle of say 40 degrees with respect to q vector. Or maybe with respect to p vector, it will form an angle of 30 degrees. You will write down the answer in that way. Okay, you just don't write, okay, theta equals to 30 degrees. That is my answer. You have to define your teacher what is the theta. And how to remember this formula, that is, with whichever side of the vector or whichever side of the parallelogram you are taking the theta, just write down in the bottom left corner. Okay, bottom left corner. Okay, and add the other vector and cosine alpha at the denominator and other vector times sine alpha in the numerator. Okay, so this was the easiest way I remembered, because obviously uh, tan theta equals to sine theta upon cosine theta. So from that I remembered, okay, sine alpha will be in the numerator and cosine alpha will be in the denominator. So I didn't find any confusion with that. Okay, but with which particular vector will the sine alpha and cosine alpha will be multiplied and which vector will be left alone, you might get confusion in that. Okay, so that is in that scenario you have to be careful. Understand my point?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So direction of the resultant, so we have already done these. Okay, so now take a screenshot of this math.
Done.
Good. I think it was this math. Okay, this one, the calculate resultant. Okay, 4 kilometer. Okay, so 4 kilometer in the north and 10 kilometer along the east. Okay, very easy. Okay, all right. Now the special cases I have already. Sorry, sorry about that. Mm. So the special cases, in one case, alpha could be equal to 0 degrees. And based on that, you can calculate what will be the theta. Just replace the alphas with 0 degrees, or in some cases 90 degrees. Okay. And in some cases 180 degrees. Okay. And you will get the answers. Okay. Do I need to show this? See,
No.
it will be q sine alpha divided by p plus q cosine alpha, just p plus alpha with 0 degree. Then you are getting, okay, theta equals to 0 degrees. Okay. Then again, in case of say alpha equals to 90 degree, replace alpha with 90 degree and you are getting tan theta equals to q upon p, which is tan inverse q upon p. And in this case as well, p minus q, then again replace with this, and then again you will get a 0. Correct. So, yeah, this is pretty much today's lesson. I hope it's clear to you. And then in the next day, we will dive into some mathematical questions. I hope you will enjoy them a lot. Okay. Are you enjoying this
Okay.
chapter? I think you are liking it better than the previous year, or like at the very beginning of our study, because
Yeah, because now I have some like basis to
idea,
like
right, right.
some
Idea about
background knowledge.
trigonometry and geometry, yes. So it should be easier.
Hmm.
Okay, and another thing to mention, I checked your answer sheet. I mean, I did not see anything.
Oh
You
yeah, it was
did not
terrible.
even write anything. Like from the past 3 days of classes, don't you remember not even a single word?
I did. It's just like a
I
sauce.
mean, I didn't see anything. I thought that okay, as you said that you were nervous, you might not write it in a proper way or something, but I didn't see anything. I mean, tell me, Lashatale's principle is a topic which is discussed to us in only one class. Okay, I even remember. I think I even missed that class when our teacher took that class. So I have to separately research to understand that topic. We already read that for 3 days. You have got a 4 days break maybe from Sunday to Thursday, and then it's not even an exam. I just told you that okay, some sort of a test, and just write down what will happen. Okay. So tell me what went wrong? Do you not understand the
I
topics,
I guess so.
or you don't understand what La Chatelain's principle is?
Pretty much. I yeah. I just didn't really understand it quite well.
Okay. So where is the problem? Okay, I will take another class, but before that you have to tell me where is the problem. Okay. That is why I ask you all the time that approach the homeworks, try the homeworks, then you will understand what is the problem. I'm pretty sure you won't be able to explain me now that what is the problem. Okay. Can you explain what is the problem? What is going wrong?
Um,
See, you are not having any clue. Okay. So again, say if you like specify the problems, I can stress on them. Okay. And if you don't like approach these things, you won't be able to specify the problem because like I try to explain them in bits and pieces in like all direction. Like okay, if this is like even in today's exam, see, I even hinted you that in case of gaseous molecules, the air pressure will be affected, or the air pressure's effect will be seen only in case of gaseous molecules. And you could see that I have already given two molecules which are of solid. There was no reflection or nothing written about that even. That is the thing I even told you like in the beginning of the class, right? And the temperature. I mean, you have to at least mention, try to mention that okay, the forward reaction is exothermic. That means heat is being released, and the backward reaction is endothermic. Okay, so that means whenever we increase the heat, its neutralizing effect is what? What is the neutralizing effect of increasing heat?
decreasing heat.
Decreasing it. You must have memorized it by now. Okay. How many times I've said that? So, what will be the reaction? According to Lashatela's principle, the reaction reacts in such a way that the heat will be decreased. That means the endothermic reaction or the backward reaction will be increased. Understand your point, right?
Yes.
And what you are saying that okay, initial energy minus the producer's energy or something like that. You are saying that, but you are not. focusing on that if delta H is negative, then the forward reaction is an exothermic reaction. That is the first point you should focus on. Say I'm pretty much convinced that you don't even understand 100% thing, but at least even from like memorizing or like recollection of the information that I've given you to the in the class, you have taken class notes. I at least want to see that reflection there. Okay, so for that you have to keep on revising the thing. Okay, and about I don't know. Let me check about the concentration part. Okay, you haven't done anything about the concentration. Okay. Concentration, if you increase the concentration of the reactant, then the forward reaction will increase because it has to reduce the concentration of the reactant. Uh, right? Like increasing concentrations, neutralizing effect is decreasing concentration. Understand the point?
Mm.
Okay. So that means that the only way it can happen is by making more producers and lessening the reactants. This is the easiest bit. I mean, even if you find difficulty in understanding air pressure and temperature, there shouldn't be any confusion. Whenever you are increasing the concentration of the reactant, the forward reaction will increase to increase the producer. Sorry, I mean the what can I say, the production you could say. And in case if you increase the concentration of the producer, then the reactants will increase by virtue of increasing the rate of backward reaction. Okay. See, I have mentioned all the things in just like within 5 minutes. Okay. And we are discussing it for like maybe 3 days. Okay. Anyway, just I mean, at least send me the class notes of the last Atlas principal for the past 3 days. I have to first check if you have taken notes of all the things which I wish you would have. Then, based on that, I might come into a summary that where is the problem lying. Okay, and it's the best if you could identify it by yourself because see, I mean, within 1 or 2 years, maybe you will get admitted to university. Okay, then there you won't find the care and the treatment you got in the school level or maybe in the college level, you won't see anything. Okay, you are on your own from then. Okay, your parents won't even interfere in your studies. Your teachers won't even interfere in your studies. See, even if you don't attend any of the classes of your teachers, the teachers won't say anything to you because you are free. You have created your own identity. Okay, the teachers won't say, okay, why haven't you done your homework? Why are you not attentive to your studies? Yes, if you seek help to the teachers, they will try to help you as much as you want. They will give their best. But in the varsity, it's all about yourself. Okay, even if you like don't uh, get involved in any of the things, they won't come forward to. That is how the world is, or that is how the university life will work. Okay, so just keep on practicing from now on. Okay, and as you have understood, I don't know how much you have read in the school life. No matter how many hours you have read, you have to up the level from now because things are about to get difficult and things are about to get burdensome. Okay, all right. In our curriculum, there are like parents or the system who want that everyone has to be educated. Okay, everyone should get a BSc degree, everyone should get a MSc degree, and so on, so on. So that is why they introduce us to like various difficult things in the school level and then in the college level as well. Okay, but in your curriculum, what I saw from the past year or past 7 or 8 months is that there is no tendency of emphasizing on like harder topics in school level. So that means you have to like complete double the syllabus that we have to complete in your like these 2 years, which is about to start within 1 month. Okay, so you have to be ready for that. Okay, I'm just
Okay.
making you cautious of the facts. Okay. I know that you are involved with various things like you do like self-defense programs or taekwondo. Uh, you are learning driving. You are involving yourself in some financial things from now on, which we didn't do before we came into university, which is very good. Okay, do everything in your life, but remember, like education is like backbone of everything. Okay, there is one particular scholar in our country who says that in binary language there are two digits, like one is one and another one is zero. You know that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So he says that you might be a great player, you have a zero. You might be a say great say a writer, you have a zero. Be a great dancer, you have a zero. You are a great musician, you have a zero. So there is no value, but they get like say 10 times 100 times value when you get a proper sort of learning or proper sort of education, because it represents the one. If you put the one in this front, it has an amplified effect. Understand my point? Okay, like
Yes.
this sort of motivation or like any talk, whatever you want to call it, you might feel boring, but these are like realities of life. Okay, right? Because we have faced them. We have faced them and we have seen our like close ones maybe or amongst our friends facing them. Okay. So this is like really important. Say, say for instance, say a particular person wants to pursue his or her profession in music. He wants to become a very good musician. But what will happen if he or she is great in education and learning things properly? What will happen is that his identity, his personality will speak for itself. Okay. He won't do anything silly or anything uh, of that quality which might downgrade his image to the public or to the society. Okay. That is why there is like everyone forces us to like obtain education, because one thing is certain. See, education is not only the one thing that will earn you money. That is one of the easiest way, because if you are educated, then you might have like a healthy jobs, or maybe you have got a great business idea to run a business maybe. So that makes it easier. But see, there are various millionaires, billionaires, they might not be educated, but to create a personality, to create an identity, create a great character, education is the best thing we could obtain. All right. Okay, and be passionate about whatever you read and enjoy it. Don't take study as a burden. Okay, most of the students do this one thing, that they think that study is a burden and the world would have been good without studying anything. No, it's completely wrong. This is one of the like holiest things that has happened to the world, I think. Okay, one of the greatest things. Okay, whenever you will learn something new, whenever you are like reading something, it doesn't go in waste. Okay, right. So my point is do everything, but in the priority list, just try to keep education above everything. Okay,
Okay.
all right. Because after say 8 or 10 years, you will get involved in professional life. You will miss these days. Okay, even I guarantee you will miss this pressure days even. That why isn't there any pressure of like reading anything? Okay, because the challenge of professional life will be obviously different, but obviously these challenges you will miss them, right? Everybody feels nostalgic about the past days. Yeah. Anyway, sorry for taking a
That's
lot
all right.
more time today, right? So Allah Hafiz for today and tomorrow that is Saturday. Are you free?
I'm free from the morning to 1
One at your time or my time?
my time. So that'll be 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Cause I start work at 2.
Understand. Is 2 days time possible somehow?
Today,
Yes, like I mean 3 a.m. slash 7 a.m. Or is it too early
uh,
for you?
we can do
Let me be
that.
frank with you.
Yes.
If you want to
No, it's okay.
sleep, obviously you can sleep. Okay, correct.
We can do 7 a.m.
Sure. Okay.
Yes.
So and tomorrow same time. All right, 3 a.m. slash 7 a.m. All right.
Okay. See,
Okay.
inshallah. Allah
Okay.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.